MRSG Mermaid said saved.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I think something happened with the. I did unplug some things. So, like I said, the state tree is the tulip, just like its neighbor, Kentucky.
Nightman said, you can send Mr.G, Moses, and Keanu packages to...
Now, what is Tennessee famous for? Well, the Grand Ole Opry is a very famous show that's been going on there for many, many years. I'll show you some pictures later in the show. Music Row, that's where in Nashville. Beale Street's in Memphis. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park, that goes right through the Appalachian Trail. The Country Music Hall of Fame, and we also mentioned Graceland. Alright, we'll go over a couple more fun facts about Tennessee before we get into the foods. I mentioned the university. They're really big on education. One of the largest private university in Tennessee is Vanderbilt. And it's one of the only schools that's it's the only private school in the SEC, which it has been in since 1932. So, you really have to make decent grades to go to Vandy, and that tells you they probably don't have the best football team, right? They're actually in the toughest football conference in the United States, the SEC, and they're basically an easy win for just about everybody each year, because once again, football players and academics don't really coincide very well. But as you can see, it has 12,000, almost 13,000 students that go to school there. The school colors are black and gold, and the mascot is Mr. Commodore, which is a bird. Now, the largest university in Tennessee, as we mentioned, is the University of Tennessee. And that was founded all the way back in 1794, before Tennessee was even a state. Tennessee became a state in 1796. So the University of Tennessee actually pre-designates it. Tennessee used to be part of North Carolina, believe it or not. So Kentucky used to be Virginia territory. Kentucky used to be Virginia's bitch. And Tennessee used to be North Carolina's bitch. Maybe, put it a little differently, I guess. But yeah, it's true, yeah. Continuing on. Well, the University of Tennessee, here's a really good image. This is them on their football field. The University of Tennessee, as well as Vanderbilt, are both in the SEC conference. They're kind of like the bottom dwellers of that conference. On Monday, we're going to learn about Alabama, and we're doing that on Monday because that's also the day that Alabama is going to be playing the national championship game. So, if you're wondering about the population of Tennessee, like I said, it has 6.8 million people, which isn't a lot, which isn't very much. Right in the middle, they're 17th in population. It's a landlocked state. It's right there in the middle of all these other states. So you can get to like a dozen different states.
https://merch.s3elements.com/mrg_live.
There's a dozen different states that you can get to in the same vicinity of Tennessee. If you see on the map there, that's pointed there, just the states that border it is North Carolina, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Virginia, Alabama, Michigan, and the Appalachian Mountains are right there on the right as well. Plus, you also look above Illinois. It's not a far drive. There's a lot of states that may not touch Tennessee, but are pretty darn close.
Help Mr.G with a donation through Stream Elements. https://s3elements.com/mrg_live/tip.
The neighbors are trying to be loud. So once again, like I said about the name, it's pretty interesting. The name Tennessee, it comes from the Tennessee, which means, it's also a meeting place. And if you're wondering, Honolulu is in Oahu. The island of Oahu is also known as the meeting place. So we'll go to a few more fun facts, and then we'll get right into the food. I talked about how Tennessee and Memphis, they have a friendly state rivalry. Tennessee's Nashville is the capital for country music, and Memphis is where you go for blues and rock and roll.
MRG_live is now live. Streaming just chatting.
So it's just some brief history, and then I promise we get to the foods.
Tennessee.
Back in the 1500s, before European contact, Muskogee and Yuchi indigenous people were living in the area. The Spaniards later made contact with Tennessee. They didn't go as far up as Kentucky. That's as far as up as they went, is to Tennessee. And they had some colonies in the area that didn't last, just like the majority of the Spanish colonies during the 16th century. In the 18th century, Europeans, they finally started moving westward to Tennessee, made up of primarily of British colonists. Like I said, Tennessee became a state in 1796, so towards the very end of the 18th century, they were able to become a state. Now, just a couple more slides one more slide about history. The state, it was accepted into the Union as the 16th state in 1796. In 1865, though slavery had been common in Tennessee, the state approved the amendment to the state's constitution that prohibited slavery. So, I like to talk about this briefly about the Civil War in each state's. Some of these older states, what they did during the Civil War. So, Tennessee was a slave state from North Carolina. North Carolina was a very strong. They had a very large slave community, and they the politicians there, or the powers that be, were pro-slavery. So North Carolina, in one way of making Tennessee a state, what that did was add more slave states to the South's repertoire. The same with Kentucky. Kentucky also was added as a state. It was originally Virginia territory, but it was added as a state as a way for the South to have more slave states. And as you can see on the map, Kentucky is right above Tennessee. Tennessee is located in the South, but during the Civil War, they had a very strong Union Army.
Blocks.
Hey, Big Block.
Shamrock 100,
Shamrock
100, Shamrock 100,
Big Block.
Shamrock 100.
Woo! All right. Shake it for Big Block. Big Block with the dodo. Woo!
Big Blocks. Sup, Mr.G.
Hey, Big Block. Ooh. Continuing. I hope you're having a good day today here, this January 6th, Big Block.
Said, you can send Mr. G, Moses, and Keanu packages to 1170 New Wanu.
So, like I said, there was
7305
many different battles
Hawaii,
fought in Tennessee during the Civil War. You've heard of the Battle of Shiloh, Stones River, Franklin. Even in the major cities like Nashville, there are very bloody, horrible battles happened in the United States' most bloodiest war, the Civil War. You hear that statistic a lot recently, like, 350,000 or so many people died of coronavirus, more than this war or that war. Well, they're not going to have that many for the Civil War. The Civil War will always be, I imagine, the most detrimental, costly as far as casualties are concerned in the United States history. Hey Google, can you turn it down, please? Hey Google, turn it down. Not to say that some Tennessees didn't side with the South, because they did, and there were a lot of Tennesseans that fought for the Confederate Army. It was a really mixed bag. Brother against brother, as they say, right? Some fought for the Union, some fought for the Confederacy. And you see the same thing in Kentucky with these middle states. Generally, they could have chosen whether to fight for the North or for the South. Where would you guys have fought? I don't know. I wouldn't have fought anywhere. I would have gone in the woods and lived by myself. But yeah, continuing. Let's go ahead and go over the foods. Like I said, we want to continue this pretty quickly here because I know a lot of you want to get back to the news, and I do have so much to do. So we'll get right into famous foods of Tennessee. Yeah, what state are we doing? Oh yeah, Tennessee. Dry ribs is a famous plate in Tennessee. That's something that you can get. It looks pretty good. Dry ribs. Something I would eat, I guess. These right here are ramps. They're supposed to be a mix between a leek and a leek and a turnip and a truffle. Believe it or not. And they're very rare and they're very expensive. So all throughout Tennessee, you have all these poor people searching the little creeks and waterways for these ramps that seem to grow everywhere. What a crazy world we live in, isn't it? All right, what else can I eat in Tennessee? Well, have you ever had a goo-goo cluster? Yeah, I have actually. They're kind of popular in Oregon. The goo-goo cluster, very popular Tennessee with nuts and chocolate.
MRSG Mermaid.
It looks pretty good.
Said, I've had those.
Yeah, interesting. Something else you can get in Tennessee? Fried pickles. I think I had these once at a bar and they were delicious. Fried pickles.
Big blocks. Said, looks like onions to me.
Yeah, those do look like onions, right? That's what I thought. Another popular dish in Tennessee is cornbread. And that is a popular dish in Texas as well. Another thing that's popular in Tennessee is as well as Golden Corral, which I worked at briefly in the year 2003.
MRSG Mermaid.
Is banana pudding.
Said, hi there, big block. Smiley face.
Now, some of the best banana pudding that I've personally had has been the kind that has vanilla wafers in it. And I imagine they probably do something similar. So we have banana pudding. And then there's, this is kind of like a plate lunch in Hawaii, except it's called Meat and Three. So what it is, you go to just about any restaurant, any diner in Tennessee, and your order is Meat and Three. So that's meat and 3 vegetables. But the vegetables can also mean mac and cheese or cottage cheese or many different things.
Sup, Mrs. J.
So Meat and Three, if you're ever in Tennessee, in your restaurant and you don't know what to say, tell them you want the Meat and Three. This is something that looked interesting. Greens and pot liquors. Something you can find in Tennessee. Alright, another thing that's popular in Tennessee is something that's also popular in Hawaii. And I thought this was a Hawaii drink, but I learned after putting together this presentation, a bushwhacker actually originates in Tennessee. And it has Kahlua rum, milk, and a coffee, and a bunch of other different things.
Said, the new merch is here, PogChamp, check it out. https://merch.
So another thing that Tennessee is known for, believe it or not, is cheese dip. Don't mess with Tennessee's cheese dip. They know what they're doing. And, I noticed a lot of similarities between Texas and Tennessee. Tennessee is also known for their biscuits and gravy. However, in Texas, they make them a little bit different. Texas is known for its biscuits and gravy as well. One thing that Texas isn't known for that Tennessee is known for is its whiskey. I showed the Jack Daniels earlier, but Tennessee whiskey is the premier whiskey. So there's places in Europe and Asia and Russia and everywhere where they show a thing of Jack Daniels and the guy's like, oh, good stuff. I look at it, I'm like, yeah, poison. All right. This is a popular sandwich in Tennessee. I can't say it's popular in Texas. Fried bologna sandwich. But it does look a lot better than I originally thought. It looks a lot better than it sounds, doesn't it? Fried bologna sandwich with mustard, onions, and pickles.
MRSJ Mermaid said, Ewo.
This is another dish in Tennessee, the hot fish sandwich. Oh, you don't like that? Ooh, the bologna sandwich. Hot fish sandwich. That looks not too good for me, the hot fish sandwich. I guess it's catfish, because catfish is also a very common dish in Tennessee. It's understandable because they have so many rivers and waterways, right? What also in Tennessee? Crystal burgers. Now, I don't know much about crystal burgers, but I'm guessing they're kind of like White Castle burgers. I'm imagining they're the exact same from what I see, except in Tennessee they're called crystal burgers. This is something probably everybody has tried before. Moon pies originated in Tennessee. Cotton candy also a popular sweet that was invented in Tennessee. I don't have a cotton candy slide. Barbecue nachos are common in Tennessee, as well as barbecue spaghetti. Now, fried chicken, Kentucky isn't the only place with fried chicken. Tennessee is known for its fried chicken, especially in its finer dining restaurants. You can get their fried chicken, and people really rave about it. Now, vinegar pie is common in Tennessee. I've never heard of that, but vinegar pie, apparently it's a thing in Tennessee. And last and certainly not least, you got moonshine. Everybody loves their old moonshine, right? Now, while we have the screen up, we'll go ahead and do some famous people from Tennessee. And all these people, they probably have their fair share of moonshine. So, Tennessee is known as the country. Nashville is known as the country area.
I have to run, Mr.G. I will try to make it back.
And okay, Big Block sounds good. And good old Taylor Swift spent many times trying to make it as a star in Tennessee. Who else is from Tennessee, Mr. G? Well, isn't Usher from Tennessee? Yeah. Yeah, Usher's from Tennessee.
MRSJ Mermaid.
Yeah.
LUL.
Who else is from Tennessee? Isn't the Joker from Tennessee? Who? Jack Nicholson?
Mermaid.
No, not that Joker.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger? No, not that Joker. I don't know what Joker you're talking about. Oh, the new Joker. What's his name? The Joaquin Phoenix. No, I'm talking about the original Joker. Jack Nicholson? No, the original Joker. Dolly Parton. Ta-da! The Joker. Okay, continuing. Who else is from Tennessee? Davy Crockett, also known as Davy Crockett, king of the mother effing tears. Davy Crockett died in the Alamo. Remember the Alamo, it's on the test.
I am.
So, you guys know Memphis is the home of the blues, so we gotta mention the _1 blues singer. Aretha Franklin is from Tennessee. Tennessee. Who else is from Tennessee? Isn't Reese Witherspoon from Tennessee? Reese Witherspoon? Who's she? I think she's a country music star. Oh, okay, yeah, she's from Tennessee. Reese Witherspoon, country music star from Tennessee. Who else is from Tennessee? Isn't that really a good girl? She's never done a drug. She's saving herself for marriage. What's her name? She was on that TV show. She's a real good Christian. Oh, yeah, Miley Cyrus. Yeah, Miley Cyrus is from Tennessee. Now that we've done that, one more person was from Tennessee. This guy. This asshole. He's from Tennessee. I actually met him once. Fucking jerk. All right. So, guys, howdy. I put the classroom Instagram on the screen. It's at Mr.G live stream on Instagram. I'm going to start posting updates notifications and different pictures from the class and stuff that we're going over. So if you're interested in the class and not necessarily the teacher, then you want to check out that Instagram there. I'm also going to put my website on the board too. If you're interested in me
Mr. G's new Instagram,
and you want to know more about Mr. G, my website's right down at the bottom here, and right here. And it's basically a bio about me. So
visit Mr. G's website, http.
And there's also a link in the chat. You can't make it any easier for you. I can. The only next thing is to take your hand and slam it down on the computer. You know, that's the only other thing I can do. All right. So while we have this little break here, I did say Tennessee, Memphis, and Nashville are both dangerous places. And if you don't believe me, just open another tab on your computer, go to YouTube, type in Nashville murder. Boom, 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 boom. Open another tab, go to YouTube, type in Memphis violent crime. Boom, 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 boom. You know, there's many reasons I live in Hawaii. One of which, the topmost, is that it's very safe, and I feel very safe here. So, if you're going to go to Tennessee, be careful. If you're going to go anywhere in the mainland United States, be careful. Don't ever go to Brazil. Brazil isn't in the United States, I know. But this world is becoming more and more dangerous, and be careful, because you don't want to be a sitting duck. I saw the world through rose-covered glasses for too long. Right? And eventually it will catch up with you. Okay, continuing with the lecture, we went over different foods in Tennessee, different famous people from Tennessee. So right now we'll briefly just go over some landmarks from Tennessee. We're approaching about 45-50 minutes here. Once again, classes at the same time tomorrow when we're going to go over the great state of Mississippi. And if you learn anything tomorrow, it should be how to spell Mississippi. Mississippi. Okay, but that's tomorrow. And Friday is Florida. We're at the hump day. You know, this is a regular work week for me. I do other things for money. I do use this classroom for tutoring, for online tutoring that I do. But you're right, I'm not banking it here, despite some great donations that I really appreciate from Mrs. J and from Big Block and from everybody else.
Help Mr. G with a donation through Stream Elements.
So I do appreciate it. However, this is going to grow. This stream and this classroom is going to grow. So share it on your Facebook, share it on your Twitter, tell your friends and family. If you know somebody that's misses school, you know, I really enjoyed going to school, college at least. I went every day. And subscribers, they get the special emojis as well as other perks too. So if you know anybody that's looking for education and maybe they can't afford it, maybe they're stuck at home, whatever the case, if they have an internet connection, they can see me live on Twitch Monday through Friday. I'm just going to be teaching geography for the next few months. Then we might move to something from history. After we're done with all the different U.S. states, we're going to move on to countries. So that's going to keep us busy for at least a few months. And I appreciate all you guys being here. So I just wanted to say that real quick. Continuing, let's go on with famous landmarks in Tennessee. The first one that I have here is called the Sun Sphere. Believe it or not, the 1982 World's Fair. World's Fair, he said World's Fair. World's Fair was actually held in Knoxville, Tennessee, of all places. You know, probably corruption or something. But here's a picture of it during the daytime. And it's a really known landmark. Like I said, the population of Knoxville is under 200,000. So, I mean, you know, for a city, I guess, that small, it does say a lot. We talked about the Grand Ole Opry. This is the Grand Ole Opry. It's I think it's the longest running radio program. It's been going on for since radios have been invented. And it's had just about every famous guest.
You can send Mr. G. Moses.
The original Grand Ole Opry was held here at the Ryan Auditorium. And it wasn't until recently, in the last 5 or 10 years, Emmylou Harris, famous country singer from Austin, Texas, I believe, actually. I actually met her, actually. That's crazy. I'm talking about her now. But I forgot totally. I didn't meet her, but I had an intimate listening experience with her in a very small coffee shop when she was performing. But anyways, Emmylou Harris did a restoration project of this building, and they have since reopened it, pre-COVID, and have had some top stellar artists like Annie Lennox and Paul Simon. A lot of different people have played here within the last few years. It's really a great auditorium, and like I said, restored by the wonderful, pleasant and sweet Emmylou Harris. Some more famous landmarks in Tennessee. We have the Centennial Building. It's the Parthenon. The Parthenon, based off of the same Parthenon in Rome, is located in Tennessee. The Country Music Hall of Fame, we spoke about that. That's located in Nashville, Tennessee. What else? The District, also in Nashville. It's where you get a lot of your bars and live music. Like I said, Nashville claims to be the live music capital of the world. Austin, Texas also claims the same. The Music City Walk of Fame. Nashville, again, is the Music City. Memphis is known as the City of the Blues. That's where you'll find Graceland and Beale Street, and also Sun Studio, if I didn't mention those things either. This is Printer's Alley. Back when the United States was an early country, Tennessee was actually a hub for magazine and newspaper and writing publications. And this is where the majority of them were published in the early days. So here's another Tennessee map. We did talk about farming a little bit. We talked about the University of Tennessee. As far as Tennessee sports go, the entire state, you have Memphis Tigers. They're really popular football and basketball university, the University of Memphis. Hey Google, Volume 9. Hey Google, how many students are at the University of Memphis?
In 2015, there were 20,585 students
so
enrolled in the
20,000.
University of
Hey
Memphis.
Google. Hey Google. How many students at the University of Tennessee?
In 2017, there were 28,321 students enrolled in the University of Tennessee.
So, hey Google, Volume 2. So, you have the University of Memphis, you have Vanderbilt at the bottom left there. I don't know what the middle one is of the cat. But then you have the professional teams on here, the Nashville Cats, spelled with a K. Those are actually based off of a music group called the Nashville Cats that came out in the 80s that spell it with a C. But look at that cat. I mean, that's it's pretty cool, I think. I was going to get another picture of the cat there. That cat's a cool cat, isn't it? Okay, so once again, the new Instagram is on the screen here. And once again, we're going to be doing a new state. Tomorrow's Mississippi, Friday is Florida. And then Monday is the national championship game when Alabama's playing Ohio State. So we're going to learn about Alabama on Monday right before the national championship game. So I really hope you guys come to that class too. I don't think there's anything else. We went over Civil War in the Tennessee. We went over some foods of Tennessee, famous people from Tennessee, industries in Tennessee, the top 4 cities in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee. Johnny Knoxville is from Knoxville, Tennessee. He's also, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, right? He seems like a nice guy. Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's where the University of Tennessee is too, and that's where we showed you that giant ball, the sun sphere. Their motto is agriculture and commerce. They're really big on growing things. There's a lot of weed that's grown in Tennessee. When it was very illegal in the 90s, Tennessee was a hot spot for illegal marijuana growth because of its rich soil and its warmer climate. It's warmer than Kentucky. Kentucky is a little bit north. So Tennessee does have a little bit warmer climate than its northern neighbors. Tennessee, more than any other state, it's right near around 12 or 15 states. So it's right there in the middle, landlocked. So you gotta like definitely have some pride being so landlocked, right? Like I'm Tennessee, and I'm surrounded by other states, you know. Here in Hawaii, I'm surrounded by ocean. So I think it's more relaxed. Anything else? You know, they're known for country music and blues music. You know, the two biggest cities, Memphis and Nashville. Cotton candy was invented there actually by a dentist. Believe it or not, I'm sure that helped his business. We talked about the Civil War. The Electoral College. Tennessee has 11 electoral votes, and they voted highly for Trump. No arguments there. I think it was like 67% for Donald Trump, higher than just about anywhere else in the country. You don't have as many coal. You don't have like any coal really. The coal mines are north of Tennessee, so that wasn't the main reason that they voted for Trump. I don't know. They're just very Republican. And they have 11 electoral votes. Memphis, I talked about Memphis. It's the second largest city, home of the blues. Martin Luther King was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. There's a museum. I talked about Graceland being in Memphis. Mountain Dew was invented in Tennessee. The flag of Tennessee on the board was actually designed by a soldier. Tennessee played a big role in the Civil War, and previously before that in the War of 1812, before it was, well, shortly after it became a state, as well as its northern neighbor, Kentucky. Yeah, I guess that's it. We did the joke of the day. Georgina, glad to see you here. Everybody, I'm going to end the class a little early today. I guess we're not doing anything else. I'll end the class with a playing of the Tennessee National Anthem. And yeah, maybe I just had the speaker up. No, it's just, no, people just aren't talking. All right, if you're watching this on YouTube, then I appreciate you. Thank you, Mrs. J.
Thank you, Mr. G, for the lesson and fantastic presentation.
You're welcome, Mrs. J. Like I said, I really do enjoy doing this, and I'm here every day, every weekday, Monday through Friday. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're from Tennessee, or you know someone from Tennessee, or you've even driven through there, put something in the comments. And if you're writing a paper on Tennessee, or if you're doing your homework on Tennessee, I'm glad to have helped. Give me a thumbs up. Don't be a hater. They suck. And also, shout out to everybody on YouTube as well. I'm going to be doing some more streams. Hey, thank you. Woo! Thank you, Mrs. J, for the donations there. Thank you, everybody. It's a crazy time in the world. So I hope all the Gwens be nice to each other, right?
You can ring my bell.
Ring my bell. Thanks, Mrs. J. Don't let your husband let you hear that. Okay. But thank you, everybody. This classroom is going to grow. I'll re-upload this on YouTube, and I'll sometimes jump in the chat. So
LULOMG.
So if you guys want to check that out, it usually takes about an hour to upload on YouTube. But despite the haters that are going to hate, I'm my toughest critic, guys. And I know for a fact that these classes have legs. They are going to grow. When people start noticing these, and I do get new viewers every day on Twitch. So if you're watching me, then we do this Monday through Friday, and it's a new state every day. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Once again, I'm going to play the Tennessee National Anthem, and we're also going to eventually start taking calls at the end of the show, but like I said, that's going to be in a little while once we have a little better audience, and I might have to hire somebody to screen the calls too. So, but that's basically what the phone is going to be, if you want to know. Alright guys, so I'm going to play the Tennessee National Anthem, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day. And like I said, everybody be nice to each other, man. We need a savior to come down and just make everybody chill, right? Just nobody hurt anybody, nobody hurt anybody, and just be cool with each other. Just be peaceful. If you're mad, if you're angry, just go in the corner and yell on a pillow, all right? Nobody needs to get hurt. Not one. All right. So guys, this is the Tennessee State Anthem. It's called Rocky Top. And I'll see all of you guys tomorrow. If you're watching on YouTube, join the class live on Twitch Monday through Friday.
Wish I was on old Rocky Top down in Tennessee. Ain't no smog and smoke on Rocky Top, ain't no telephone bill. Once I had a girl on Rocky Top, half there, the other half cat. Wild as a meat, the sweet ass of the pop, I still dream about that. Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee.
You can send Mr. G, Moses, and Keanu packages to 1170 New Avenue, PO Box 37305, Honolulu, Hawaii 96823.
Strangers ain't come down from Rocky Top, reckon they never will. And corn don't grow at all on Rocky Top, dirt's too rocky by far. So that's why all the folks on Rocky Top get their corn from a jar. Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Nightbit said, help Mr. G with a donation through Stream Elements.